Podcast. Yeah. We are hosted by your favorite coach's favorite coach, your favorite fat freckled man, and the big dog himself. Who? Coach, we back. We back. Man, can I get a quick applause for myself? I ain't gonna lie, I'm feeling myself right now. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. How are you? And tonight we have a special guest with us in the building. We have a brother who I admire, I respect, somebody who takes his not just his job but his purpose in life very seriously, and he walks in his purpose. And that's it. Ask any man who is a actual grown up what walking in your purpose means, and how big of a deal that is once you finally find your purpose to be able to walk in it. But man, we got the one, the only AB Bracewell, author, former podcaster, and relationship counselor, with us here tonight in the building to have a conversation with us. Give it up for AB, y'all.
Thanks for having me, brother. Appreciate the invite. You said earlier it's been a long time coming, so it's always
Yeah,
good to be here with my friends. So I appreciate you having me.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember we did the "What Is He Thinking" episode. My Wi-Fi did me nutty. It kicked me out halfway out the conversation, but it was just a good it was a good conversation that we was having. It was helpful. And also, little did I know that that conversation will put me in position to be able to contribute to one of your literary works that you had further down the line from that. I mean, that's something I'll always be proud of, getting to be a part of that moment, part of that experience. um, and it's on wax, so what I'm saying, folks, y'all
Yeah,
could go see it. I even got to be part of the cover with some of my
yeah,
friends.
yeah.
You know
You're
what
on
I'm
the book
saying?
cover, your quotes in the book, everything, bro. So I
While y'all
appreciate
doing
you,
hood
man.
rat things with y'all hood rat friends, I'm doing grown ass things with my grown ass homeboys. You heard?
Yeah,
Yeah. But
I appreciate your support.
yeah, man. Look, I'm just glad I was able to support. I don't see nobody in the chat just yet, so we just gonna BS a little bit. But what you looking forward to this NBA season, man?
Man, yeah, I'm a Knicks fan, man. I'm a everything New York fan, Knicks fan, Giant fan. So I just wanted to see the Knicks go further. So I think Knicks fan, we real about our team, no matter how good they are. We still a little skeptical because we had so many bad years that we don't get too hype about what's going on. So they had a good season last year. They made it to the second round, I believe, or third round maybe. And
Hmm.
I just want them to do good. I want them to do good. I've seen a lot of a few players hurt at the start of the season, but that's kind of normal.
Yeah.
I want to see what the Lakers do. I'm not a big Lakers fan. I always want to see what they do. We in Philly. I want to see what the Sixers do too. They just been a whole lot of talk about them, and they had a terrible season last year. So I don't
Terrible.
know if they're gonna bounce back or what. But you know, as long as as long as they don't beat the Knicks, I'll be cool. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to expect from the Sixers just because it's all about health. That's really all it comes down to. Are we going to get Paul George in one piece? How many games are we going to get out of Embiid? Like,
Yeah,
everything stops around that. Anything after that is a bonus. You know what I'm saying? But if Embiid ain't ready to go, that's it. Chalk it.
yeah, yeah. I thought
Chalk
they're always
it.
talking about trades and getting rid of them. I thought that this season they were gonna try to do something. I don't know, but he back though.
I want to. Hey, everybody in Philadelphia, 6 year land high. This is not Ree, and I want to say I've been one of the guys saying that you needed to move on from Embiid a couple of seasons ago. So no matter how good this season goes, y'all, just know when it ends badly, I was the guy who said we needed to move off him, man. It's just his body, man.
Yeah,
That's really what it
he's
is.
never gonna
We
be
know the
healthy.
boy could play.
Yeah,
We know the boy could play. We know he's an MVP caliber player. But somebody that big playing the way he plays with all them flopping and falling sideways and all that kind of stuff, man. He the sixer I seen hit only sixer I seen hit the floor more than him was AI.
yeah, more than AI, but yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
that dude. But he came into the league injured, so he's just like one of them
exactly.
injury prone dudes that he's never gonna be fully healthy for a full season. So you know, if you gotta probably have a great backup center if you're gonna play him because, like you said, you don't know how many games that dude gonna play. Like,
Yeah, and I thought and what I said a couple of seasons ago was not even so much having a great backup center. You have a serviceable backup center. You just needed somebody else to be the offensive hub while he missing games or whatever. And the Sixers didn't really they weren't able to really establish that. Maxi's still on a rise, but there's still certain parts of his game. Like when you're a guard as the offensive hub, like you gotta be a certain level of guard to where it's like you're not going to be responsible for playmaking. You could just
mhm,
go out there and score. But the
yeah,
Sixers don't have a playmaker for him to be that.
yeah. What you think about the rookie?
Jared McCain, he's not no playmaker either, but he a bucket.
Not not McCain.
Yeah, he's not a rookie because he did get hurt. But Edgecombe,
Was it Edgecombe? Didn't they pick up?
VJ Edgecombe.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not 100% sold, but I don't have nothing bad to say about him either. I'm looking to see what he's gonna be able to do as a pro. Because I mean, we see he got the athletic tools for sure. But how many years do we see, lanky, athletic guy who turns out to be mid or next to nothing?
Yeah, yeah. I
The
ain't
other
really.
parts of his game really have to round out. So
Yeah,
I haven't seen anything that made me like, yeah, nah, I believe.
yeah. I haven't really seen them play yet, but I know Sixers. They good for trying to blow up somebody. If they hold on to any little hope they get, they're gonna blow it up. So I haven't
For
really seen
sure,
what
for
he could
sure.
do. Yeah, and
For sure, for
I'm the
sure.
type. I'll be so busy that I don't start watching until the season start, man. Like I don't
I
trade. I
hear
don't know
you.
what's going on until the season start.
I hear you. This actually probably the furthest back I've ever been on an NBA season because of everything else I got going on. Normally I'm preseasoned it up, training camp, all that kind of stuff. I'm behind on everything.
I done gave that up, man. Man, I just sit in conversations and listen. I get my NBA news from my son. I don't be knowing what's going on. I gotta ask him. I wait till the season. Yeah, and even when the season start, I still don't be catching games like that. I might catch that little East Coast game. By the time the West Coast
Right.
game won, I'm going to bed.
I'm officially too tired for West Coast games, and as a Houston Rocket fan, that should be burning me, man.
So
It would be
you
burning
a
me out.
Denver
I could
Rockets fan?
At best I could catch the first half. At best.
First quarter.
I literally just don't be making it through, and it'd be killing me when them games be good. You
Yeah.
wake up and you see, oh, we won on a buzzer beater or some kind of overtime. Like I want to wait to see it. I'm on the couch,
Mhm.
knocked out.
Yeah. So what you think Durant gonna do over there?
I mean, KD gonna be KD, but I think with Fred Van Fleet being hurt, it's just gonna put a lot of pressure on Amen Thompson to become the main playmaker, and put him in a leadership role that we're gonna have to see whether or not he ready for. Um, and I just think if all the other pieces do their part, then things should be cool. Always got to worry about Durant's health because he has been experiencing more and more injuries. I mean, age happens to everybody. Um, but yeah, I think that, I mean he's absolutely what we need in terms of the scoring and everything that he brings to the team. So shoot, I'm happy to have him. I ain't gonna lie.
I like the young
Especially
team
since
we
it
had.
meant getting rid of Jalen Green because Jalen Green, ugh,
Yeah.
he hurt me, man.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a disappointment, but I still like the younger team better. I think I got to see what's going to happen now. Y'all got to play it like Durant. Like, is that going to knock everybody else off balance? Everybody going to stand there and watch Durant with the ball? So we gonna
I,
see how they work together.
I think the good thing is the coach that we have, Ime Udoka. Because he likes a more team, based kind of thing. The things that he was trying to do with, Tatum and Brown, I think, having KD as the offensive hub and nobody else exactly at his level, like Tatum and Brown was kind of like
Mm-hmm.
this or whatever. Although we really know Tatum was here, Brown's here. It gives him less to have to figure out because you can still use Sengun like a post guy to kind of play through in terms of posting up and passing and cutting, setting screens and stuff like that to make it easy for to make some mid range catch and shoot situations for KD. So uh, I just think point guard wise, we got to figure out what's gonna happen, and then everybody else is gonna play their roles. Everybody else doesn't need 15 shots.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the good thing is that everybody else, kind of gets in where they fit in. So we'll see what's going on with that. And I think defensively, other people gonna have to step up without us having Dylan Brooks now, with us not having Dylan Brooks now.
True. True. True.
But that's enough Sports Center for y'all. We're gonna get into this topic, man. As I said, AB wears many hats. He has many things on his resume. But what I brought him here tonight for is, and y'all might have seen these posts on my regular page and sometimes on the Not Charles page every now and then. The number one thing that I heard y'all say when it came to Kevin Samuels and everything he had to say was, what makes him so qualified? Like when we see these people talking about relationships and what marriages should look like and so forth and so on, and they don't say something that y'all like to hear, the first question y'all ask is, well, what makes them so qualified? What makes them an expert? And I think that's a reasonable question, right? Because if all I did was talk about basketball and you never saw me pick one up, it would be reasonable to ask, well, what does his fat ass actually know? So I brought him here because the man literally studied. The man literally got his degree in this area to be able to be a relationship counselor. Because then that's another thing. When you ask people about counselors, they kind of like, well, what makes that counselor qualified to be able to come and tell me or tell us what we should do in our love life and so forth and so on. I also want to mention, just to give him from my point of perspective, that he does have a very strong spiritual base. Like whether y'all into religion or not, I give him more credit on the spiritual side than the religious side. He does have a very firm and strong spiritual belief. So even though he's doing things from a clinical aspect, he's certainly, keeping in mind the higher authority he has to answer to when he's doing these dealings. So uh, one for sure, I'm gonna go ahead and plug as somebody for y'all to get in touch with. If that's something that you should need. But I'm gonna let him go ahead and pause, toot his own horn about it, and let y'all know basically, what makes him qualified to have these conversations with y'all. AB, you got the floor, bro.
Okay, no, I appreciate it, man. Like, I've been in the field for quite a long time. I let me start with my education piece. I did my undergrad at Temple University, where I got a degree, a bachelor's degree in psychology. Straight out of Temple, I entered the mental health field. Worked in so many different capacities as a case manager, or as a just a aide, student aide with kids that have mental health issues in the classroom, what we might call therapeutic support. So I did that for quite some time before I went back to school and got my master's degree in clinical psychology with a concentration in marriage and family therapy. That was about 17 years ago. So for the past 17 years, I've been working as a therapist um, in the field, outpatient therapy, family therapy, in the school system. I'm a therapist. My passion is couples and relationships therapy as well. I'm actually a licensed professional counselor here in the state of Pennsylvania. So I also opened my own private practice about a year and a half ago. It's called Embrace Wellness Therapy, and my main goal is to try to help people build healthier lives and healthier relationships. So I've been doing it for a while. other than just the education piece and the experience piece. Of course, I come with some life experience. I've been through relationships. Whether it's romantic relationships, family relationships, I've experienced all of it and had to learn how to navigate my own relationships as well. So, you come with some life experience, you come with some education, you come with some training. I think that's the main thing that a lot of people, like you was talking about, that get on the internet, they don't want to know what type of training they had in different modalities of therapy. I did a lot of my training in what we call CBT therapy or ESFT therapy. So there's a lot of different um, uh, evidence-based theories that's out there that therapists have to go through, and where we have to actually keep up our training hours in order to keep our licenses or be qualified. So it's not just constantly just sitting down and talking to people, but we have to these methods and these approaches, these interventions are drilled into us, so we can be able to service our clients a lot better. So yeah, that's what I do, man.
Appreciate that thorough layout. Um, so when you said that that's your passion, like what led to that particularly um standing out for you as to how that ended up being your passion?
I think it started from very young. And of course, I didn't know that at the time. I'm a middle child, so I have
Okay.
an older brother and a younger sister. Um, I grew up in a house with my mom and my dad, and I've always felt like um, I was I wouldn't say the glue, but I always could be the mediator or the person that can navigate between different worlds. Like I could be with my younger sister and have fun with her, be with my older brother, have fun with him, and I can also bring us together at times as well. Growing up in a household, where mom and dad, at times there was conflict, and as I got older, for some reason, I felt like it was my place to try to bring them together, talk it out, things of that nature. Of course, they ain't listen to me, but I still, for some reason, I still took on that role. You know, talking to this parent and that parent, trying to bring them together to have some type of understanding. So it kind of, I would say, it started young, but I
Hmm.
didn't recognize it as that young as a teenager. It wasn't until I got into the field and I was doing most of my work with children in the school, and going to the schools trying to teach them these different coping skills, these different ways to deal with their emotions and to regulate their feelings and control their behaviors. And I found myself just banging my head against the wall because no matter how much we try to teach these kids how to function at a high level, they'll go home and and whatever environment they're growing up in, they'll come back to school with those behaviors. So
Facts.
I started getting more interested in the whole family system and how the family system affects kids. And then family system, of course, you deal with relationships, whether it's between the mother and the father, the children and the mother, father and mother, and you see how all these different pieces impact the kid. So that started to lead me towards more family therapy, marriage and family therapy, and things of that nature. So, and I just found the joy in trying to help people build healthy relationships when I went that direction.
That's dope. That's dope how it came together organically.
Mhm.
So, yeah, like I said, I appreciate what you do in contrast to everybody and their mom, who's getting famous for speaking on relationships just because it's what they feel like they should do or what they feel like other people should do. Um, so let's go into that a little bit and let's talk about your experiences. Give us like three of the most challenging issues you run into in your line of work and how you approach them.
I think what one of the biggest challenges that I run into is trying to convince people that therapy is not a magic wand. Coming to
Mm,
couples, people, they go through a lot of different things in a relationship, whether it's infidelity or poor communication, or just or it could be power struggles, whatever it might be, or they come to the relationship with their own past trauma and their own past issues, and they trying to form a life together, and it gets so bad, it gets so toxic to the point where they're ready to break up. They're either rather to divorce, go their separate ways, and they use therapy as like the last ditch effort to save their marriage or their
Right.
relationship, thinking that we have a magic wand, we say a couple of words, or sprinkle some powder on it, and things going to be okay. And it doesn't work like that. I always
Never.
tell people, yeah, when they come to therapy, I always tell them like I'm really just a guide. I'm really just a guy to help y'all navigate whatever issues y'all might have, but the work is on y'all. You
Facts.
see me 1 hour out of a whole week, so it's not what we talk about in session is good, but if you don't take those things what we talk about in session and apply it to your relationship, you really kind of just come here for nothing. So I have a lot of people that I work with, that they don't even speak to each other outside of session, or when they do speak to
Mm.
each other, there's arguments, there's fussing and fighting. They don't try to implement any of the things we talk about in session, and then they feel like, hey, therapy doesn't work. I'm like, yeah, well, like you have to implement these things in your life, in your relationship. That's the real work. People come to therapy and they always say, I did the work, I did the work. And they thinking just coming to sessions is the work. Like that's a very
Mm.
small piece of the work. The real work
Yeah.
in therapy is implementing this stuff and trying to make real changes in your life. Like trying not to respond when you're triggered by something you may do. Trying to be more positive towards them, whatever it might be. Trying not to stonewall them, or, give them the cold shoulder. Trying to actually talk through issues when they come about, opposed to attacking each other, becoming defensive,
Hmm.
and lashing out. So that's the real work of therapy, and that's the issue. That's a major issue I run into with clients, like just trying to get them to really do the work when they think they're doing the work just by showing up to sessions every week. Yeah, so
Let
that's
me uh let me jump in right quick because I was guilty of that. Yeah, I could honestly say we was guilty of that at one particular time when we was going to therapy, and I was definitely team therapy don't work. Like I believe in therapy in general, but I was like, yeah, therapy don't work for us because you know that exact same issue. It was okay. We
Mhm.
talking and we saying all this stuff during this hour session, and then during the week, like we're not rocking with each other. Like
Yeah.
it's the arguments are still arguing. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the times where he gave us like specific homework to do, which
Mm-hmm.
kind of forced us to come back because he was going to ask us about it the next week.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would seem like okay, so I guess everything is just going to be what it was before until the day that we go to counseling,
Today
and then we'll talk about it on the way
session.
home.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we'll mention it the next morning or whatever, and then the week goes back to being what it was. So I feel you on that, and it's definitely something we both worked, and I can say me personally, I've worked to improve on because, like you said, it's like no, I'm putting in the work, I'm putting in the work. Why ain't nothing moving? But
I'm showing
going
up
to the
every
gym
week.
ain't the same as working out.
Yeah, yeah. And I know we see a lot of people that go to the gym and they just walking around with the headphones on, and they might pick up a weight here and there, but they don't make it a lifestyle. So they
Facts.
don't see no results. And that's the same thing with therapy. The same thing happens in therapy. So I would say that's one major issue I run into. Um, you know, Interesting enough, you talked about social media,
Hmm.
and how it's different, so-called experts on social media. But what I'm starting to see throughout the years, a lot of the issues, the power struggles, the gender wars,
Hmm.
some of the rhetoric that you hear on social media is really creeping into relationship these days.
It is
Yeah, it's so it's. I
very
would like to,
bad.
yeah, I would like to think it's just social media, but this stuff is having a real impact on people's lives. Like someone can sit in front of me and I can hear. I know what podcast he was listening to, like because you're saying the stuff verbatim. And so
Pretty
yeah,
much.
that is a new issue that I'm trying to navigate and trying to
Mm.
teach people like what are you feeding yourself? Who you listening to? Where you getting this advice from? Where you think that this is actually going to work in your relationship? Like this a real person you're working with now. You can't just be spitting out these talking points
Hmm.
in your relationship and think it's going to work out. So yeah, that's something that's something kind of new that I'm starting to run into. Yeah,
Okay.
that's new. Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't surprised. I ain't surprised. Like I
Mhm.
hear people, like you say, regurgitate these points every day. I see it in the comments. Man, listen. So again, if y'all saw me on my regular page, y'all would know that I would share some of his questions that he would have. And sometimes he would post questions on his page, and I would get in the comments because we folks. So of course I'm gonna do what I could do to contribute, try to get the chat going, conversation going, whatever,
Mhm.
what have you. Plus, it was interesting conversations to have. And as a married man, I'm trying to see what other people, who are likewise minded, feel like in that space. Because sometimes you think it's just you and it's not. But man, some of the stuff I saw, I was like, whoa,
Mhm.
wow, that's how y'all feeling. That's how y'all coming. Where did y'all even get this impression of the other sex from? Where did y'all get this idea of the other sex from? Like
Mhm. It's all about
that
the
y'all
stuff
tell
we
them
feed
this is how
ourselves.
we think. Y'all telling men how we think?
Mhm.
Where are y'all
Yeah.
getting this from? This
Yeah.
can't be the dudes y'all dated. Y'all wasn't having these conversations with the dudes y'all dating. So I know y'all didn't get it from them. And then you realize, yeah, it was some dude out here saying XYZ, ABC, and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
There's
And the number
something.
twos, unfortunately, like you said, going along with it, added to their rhetoric. Oh, well, I need my woman to be do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And
Mhm.
it's a mess. It's a mess. It's scary actually how effective it's been on grown folks.
Yeah. Like, listen, there's a level of trauma. There's different types of traumas out there. Um,
Hmm.
Most people just label everything as PTSD, but there's community trauma, there's relationship traumas, there's interpersonal traumas, impersonal traumas, and there's also something called vicarious trauma. And that's what I'm
Mm.
seeing a lot with this, what we're talking about. Like a lot of people haven't actually gone through these things, but they've heard about it, or maybe they watched it, or they listened to somebody talk about all these different things about men, these different things about women, these different traumas and relationship issues that they've been through, and they're becoming traumatized just off of stuff that they hear is going on. It's kind of
Hmm.
like back in the day when 9/11 happened, even people that was nowhere near the Twin Towers, not in New York, across the world, after a while they were
Depression.
scared to get on planes too.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
was traumatized by an experience that happened across the world, and this is happening through the internet these days. Like
There
people
was
get
people literally clinically diagnosed with depression from 9/11 that was nowhere near the buildings.
yeah, yeah, that's that vicarious trauma. So and it is
Vicarious trauma. Oh,
yeah,
that's a bar.
yeah, and it's crazy that it happens through social media, but I see it. I see it. Yeah, yeah. So what was I saying? You asked for three, right? But I gave
Yep.
you
You gave
uh
us two. You gave these
yeah, two.
people thinking that therapy is a magic wand, and the impact of social media on the way people see relationships.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many. Another issue that another issue that I see often that I try to help people navigate is like just power struggles. Power struggles
Okay.
in relationships. And people have power struggles for so many different reasons, and they really can't identify why they keep bumping heads. Like it could be like just a change in a relationship, for instance, like they two people decide to move in together. Now they have
Hmm.
to adjust and change the way they live and abide by certain rules. and one person thinks they're right, the other person thinks they're right, and they're not able to compromise and sacrifice, and they run into these power struggles, and they just stay in this cycle of arguing, fussing, fighting, trying to get their way. So that's a major issue I deal with couples. Like it's constant power struggles, and it's not. People always think it's communication, and like communication is important, but it's like
Mhm.
some of the underlying issues that make you guys communicate in a negative or in a toxic way that we really need to address. Like you're communicating like that because you're feeling resentful towards your mate,
Mhm.
or you're communicating in a negative way because you're feeling abandoned, or whatever. You're communicating because there's just something underlying issue that you guys aren't addressing, afraid to address, or whatever the case might be. And I think that takes me right into the next one. um, it's issues that I think everybody have that come to see me. Like I always
Okay.
say, relationship issues are usually individual issues, and y'all just bring it to the relationship, and it becomes a relationship issue.
Mm.
So
That makes
people
sense.
come to therapy with a whole lot of stuff, like individually, like that has nothing to do with your connection. Like people
Okay.
deal with different traumas in their life, abandonment. It could be abuse, rape.
Mhm.
It could be anything. You're dealing with depression, and you're trying to fill those voids with a relationship. You're trying to find somebody else to heal you, somebody to make you better, and you wonder why. So people say trauma bonding these days. So you wonder why y'all can't get it right. Is because y'all never dealt with the issues that y'all already had, and now y'all trying to build a healthy relationship off of a faulty foundation. And
Mhm.
that's something I always like to do with clients. Like I go deep into their history. We talk about your family, the family you came from, the type of issues that appeared in your family. Was there any mental health issues in your family? Was there any type of relationship issues? Were you dealing with
Okay.
grief, depression, all those things? Like what did you come into the relationship with that you feel like is a problem now? So that's another thing that I often deal with, where I have to sometimes recommend people to individual therapy. Like, listen, you need to. We can do couples therapy, but I need you to go see this therapist by yourself because you
Right.
got some issues that you really need to deal with that's going to continue to impact the relationship if you don't address it.
Right. I actually had the last firm that I went to for relationship counseling for me and my wife. They actually suggested that first and foremost. They was like, do you both have, your own individual therapist? If not, we strongly suggest that before we go ahead and book you for a couples therapist, that you both book your own individual. So that makes a lot of sense when you put it like that. That makes a
Yeah,
lot of sense.
yeah,
You bring in your own issues. It's not a relationship issue. It's a you issue. But because they got to deal with you, it becomes a
hmm,
y'all issue. I dig
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
I
like
dig it. I
like
dig it.
I couldn't communicate before I got into this relationship. So
Right.
you be calling it a communication issue in a relationship? Like, nah. I before I got in this relationship, I didn't know how to express my feelings, or I became defensive, or I was aggressive. Now you just got to deal with it because I'm in a relationship. But I should have
Hmm.
probably dealt with this way before I met you.
Mm, that's real. That's real. Shout out to Reese in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Shout out
Please.
to Mimi the Goddess in the chat. Showing they love. Came in right quick, showing they love.
Okay.
Shout out to them. Um, Anybody watching, first and foremost, I hope you're enjoying this episode, but take the time out to like this episode, to subscribe to the channel, and to share the episode. Greatly would appreciate these things. I am at 120 subscribers and my goal is 150 for the year. So please subscribe, share, and help get me to that 150 before the year is out. Greatly appreciate y'all, lifers. Greatly appreciate y'all. Me said that definitely helps, especially if both parties put in the work separately than collectively. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Makes all the sense in the world. Makes all the sense in the world. All right. If y'all want, if I'm not gonna have y'all making this man work for free, but if y'all have a small question, this man not sitting here doing this whole joint for free. No, book a session with him. We're gonna make sure he gives that info so that you can book your sessions with him. But if it's just something like that, y'all want to go ahead and ask the man while I have him, feel free to go ahead and then chat. Meantime, between time, we got the question of the night on deck. Yep. Let's see if this screen shares it. Boom. All right. Let us go to the question of the night. Shared from the Intrusive Thoughts podcast. We gotta get no volume on that. Why? Why is there no volume? Oh, because I didn't hit the volume button. All right. Let's try let's try this one more again. Intrusive Thoughts podcast with Callie and G. Y'all on.
You clear your throat a lot. You got like are you a flamacious bitch or something? You got a lot of phlegm in the back of that shit.
Should your partner have your passwords to your phone and socials?
I don't care. I don't give a damn. I'm glad you said that.
I don't care.
Yes or no, who gives a fuck? Like, as long as your ass ain't cheating, I don't. And my thing is, a motherfucker gonna tell on themselves if they are cheating. You don't have to look for that shit. You don't have to look for it. The good Lord is gonna tell you. The truth. I always say the truth begs the light. That motherfucker be sprouting out anywhere there's light. So you're not going to be able to hide that you cheating for long. So I don't look for no signs of cheating, baby. I don't do that at all because that's a full-time fucking job that I am not getting paid for. Bitch, you got me fucked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna let you do your thug thistle because motherfuckers telling themselves anyway. If you just live. So I'm not a jealous heart. I'm not a jealous hearted type person, and I'm not gonna look for shit. If you doing some shit, it's gonna present itself. So hey. Have the fuck at it. I don't give a fuck about no password. If you want mine, you can have it. If I don't have yours, that's cool. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Next.
Cool.
Might shot the beat not so.
Thank you, Callie and G. Thank y'all for that. Okay, we do got a question in here, but I guess we'll tackle the question first. Do you think it's possible to have a healthy relationship if you've never witnessed one? And this is coming from Dr. Nixon in the chat. Shout out to Dr. Nixon.
That's a great question. I would say it's much harder if you never witnessed a healthy relationship, if you never had it modeled for you, if you never had an example. It is much more difficult. And I would only assume if you never had a healthy relationship model for you, that you had a lot of unhealthy relationships modeled for you. So that will make it even twice as hard if what you saw, what you grew up around was a lot of unhealthiness, a lot of arguments, aggressiveness, fuss and fighting, infidelity. If that was your example, it would make it extremely hard. But I don't think it's impossible. And that's what I do, and that's what other therapists like me do. It's people that come to us and we try to build up those relationship skills, those communication skills. We try to help them rebuild trust, or build trust in general. So I don't think it's impossible that an individual that didn't have a healthy example of a relationship to be in a healthy relationship. But it's definitely harder. But there's also other examples, because my mind goes straight to the household that you grew up in, your family environment. There's other examples that people can always learn from. There's other ways you can develop skills in order to be in a healthy relationship. So it's definitely much harder, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. Or if it was impossible, then my job will be null and void. There will be no purpose for me to be working. So we always have hope that it's possible to that people can develop a healthy relationship, no matter how bad things are looking. Now,
Sorry.
there's some things that if it's that bad, then you probably should not be together. It's one thing that I always tell couples when they come to therapy is that therapy is made to reveal the truth. What you decide to do with the truth is on you. So I'm not here to convince you guys to stay together. I'm not here to make you guys break up. We just here to be honest, transparent, and truthful. And the truth is going to lead to whatever direction you want to take your relationship. So the goal is just to reveal the truth to each other.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's get back to the question of the night. Should couples share each other's passwords? Mimi the Goddess responded, I agree with them girls because I can definitely attest to what they said about things presenting themselves. So I will go before the relationship expert goes so y'all can get a valid opinion at the end of it. My thing is, it depends on the couple. That's me personally, my personal belief. It depends on the couple. If y'all cool like that to where, you know, you don't mind sharing, everything, whatever comes through your phone or whatever, then there shouldn't be no issue. Y'all should be able to share passwords. There's some people who believe that no matter how intertwined we are, no matter how close we are, even if we get married, I'm still allowed a certain amount of privacy. I'm still allowed a certain amount of personal space. And to that person, I agree. I think that all humans are still allowed to their own personal space, their own sense of privacy, their own sense of self. And now I'm not gonna sit there and be like, well, yeah, you should use that as an excuse to get away with cheating or doing stuff you're not supposed to do because that's just out of pocket. But if it's just maybe you need a moment to collect yourself and maybe your confidant or whoever it is that you go to about your real life situations, you went to them because you was trying to figure out what's the right way to go to your spouse or your significant other about the issue as opposed to just trying to take it head on and then saying stuff the wrong way. I think you should be allowed that space, whereas in you know, maybe if y'all sharing everything and that person sees that, then they don't have the proper context for it. So that's why I also think it depends because do you have a searcher? Are you with somebody who searches your stuff? Because then it's kind of bigger problems. You know what I'm saying? So it, at that point, it does become less convenient because they're searching, and I don't care what nobody say. Anybody under the sound of my voice and who may be looking at the picture of this fat freckled Negro, if you're looking for something, you're looking for something to be wrong. You're not checking phone, email, socials to verify that this person is good. You're looking, expecting to find something wrong. And the longer you look to expect to find something wrong, the greater chance you will, even if it's not even there. Even if it's not even there. I know a homeboy who didn't even get jammed up because she found stuff he wasn't supposed to find. She didn't talk to that man for 3 days straight because of what she didn't find. And she said, nope, mm,
You
you've been getting rid of stuff. This is too sanitary. You got a homeboy who's a wild boy and y'all don't have no wild conversations going on. I don't believe it. So it's a greater problem. So the sharing of the passwords didn't help him out. The fact that he has a lock on his phone to keep from everybody else, but the fact that she had the password didn't help him out. So it definitely depends on the situations going on around the relationship. Me personally, I'll be transparent. I have friends who tell me stuff. So no, I love my wife dearly. I will die for her and kill for her, but she can't have the passwords to all my socials and all my phones, because if my friend hits me up needing to vent about whatever it is they need to vent about, they're venting to me, not to her. And they should have that right as my friend to be able to leave their business with me and me not pillow talk about it to her. Especially these friends that I'll be bringing around. Cause come on, some of the stuff that you know, dudes, hey fellas, let's be honest. Some of the stuff when our girls bring us the tea, when our wives bring us the tea about their whole girls, don't act like some of the stuff they tell you don't have them looking at you differently, like, ooh, I don't know about I don't know about Sherelle. I don't know about CC. You said you going where with CC? Ain't she the one that always got you about to either fight or I gotta come pick you up because she, so forth and so you. So I say at the couple's discretion. AB, I'm turning it over to you, bro.
I agree with everything you said. I think the key word that I heard was like should, and when I hear that word should, it makes me think like this some type of entitlement or obligation that that we should be sharing passwords, and like you said, it's up to the couple. But my main question would always be like, what's the motivation behind it? And what's the reason why we're sharing our password or codes or whatever it might be? And I agree with you that 9 times out of 10, if it's an individual that feel like they should have your password, that they're not looking for anything good. That they're looking for something to incriminate you, incriminate whatever. They're looking for something. So it I worked with couples, so there's sometimes where I would say should. Um, I work with couples that have experienced infidelity, some level of cheating, and their goal to come back to they come to therapy because their goal is to rebuild trust. And so I always ask them, okay, what needs to be done to help rebuild the trust? If that's both of your goals, if that's the wife goal and husband's goal, you want to rebuild trust. What are some of the things that need to be done? In situations like that, people might say, I should have their password, I should have their social media accounts, or what they should have, whatever. And in those situations, I don't disagree. That if your goal is to rebuild trust, then maybe those you need to be as honest, uh, transparent, and forthcoming as possible. Because especially if that's the thing that led to the infidelity, or that's the thing that led to the distrust, then yeah, lay everything on the table. Let them have access to your social media. Let them have access to your phone, so you can start to prove to them that you're being honest, that you're being on the up and up, that you're being faithful. In those situations, a should is totally understandable. But in other situations, like if you just come into the relationship and you're saying, okay, we should exchange passwords, I will always wonder, like, what's the motivation behind that? Why? What's the why? And sometimes we need to check ourselves. Like I was saying before, you coming into this relationship with some level of distrust because of something that happened to you in a past relationship, and now you feel like this this should just be the standard in every relationship you enter, that you should know my location, you should know my password. Then that means you should deal with that trauma that you're bringing in to the relationship and not project this on me, or I should not project this on you. So if
Can I
that's the
pause you
most,
for one quick second to interrupt you, because that actually goes towards a question that was asked from the audience. Do you think, because you just mentioned about past bad experience, do you think knowing what you don't want in a relationship based on those negative experiences help you learn what you want?
I think they're two different things. Like
Please elaborate.
oftentimes, yeah, you know, we listen to these shows, these dating shows, and whatever it might be, and or if someone might be on these dating apps, and if you see it, people have or can easily list all the things they don't like. Like I don't like that. Like they have so many triggers. This trigger me. This turns me off. I don't like this. This is a whatever. People are good with identifying what they don't want, but that's not the same as knowing exactly what you want. Like it's not like I know I don't want somebody to lie to me. I know I don't want somebody to cheat on me. I don't want somebody to be abusive or whatever that might be or be controlling. But you don't know if if you want someone to be chivalrous towards you. You don't know what respect really looks like. So you don't know what positive or healthy communication is. So you don't know what you want. So I think those are two different things. So a lot of people that have been through maybe toxic or unhealthy relationship can easily identify all the bad things that they don't want to be in their life. But when you tell them to name some green flags or what you do want, they have a very hard time. They have a hard time. So I really think there's two different things. Like, and that's a part of like getting to know yourself as a person. Yeah, when you get to know yourself as a person, you start to know the things you do like. You begin to know what feeds your love language. You get to know what makes you feel loved, or what makes you feel cared for, and things of that nature. And that's different from not knowing what I don't want. So yeah, I think it's two different roads and two different levels of information that we need to learn.
I like that. That's really good. That's really good because I actually didn't even think about that. Not knowing what you don't want doesn't tell you what you want.
Oh, no.
Excellent, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks
And
for answering my question. So for
I
sure,
see it
that's what
all.
we're here to do.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to do. Get the lifers, you know what I'm saying? Let's have conversations that push our culture forward, man. That's what we're here to do. Like I said, I ain't gonna have the man doing this all night. I ain't gonna have the man, you're asking the man 15, 11 questions because that man gets paid to do this. All right?
Let him
That
come.
man gets
I could
paid to
give him
do this.
a 60-second
So
response. Is not gonna hurt.
but I mean that definitely yeah, Misha, it makes a lot of sense when he puts it like that. I actually you could say I've never thought about it like that. Kenyon, welcome to the chat, bro. We have you missed a good bulk of the questions earlier, but what I have is literally a professional relationship counselor here with me on the episode tonight. So I asked him about his expertise, how he got to his level of expertise, how he helps people. I asked him previously about issues he encounters. Was some of the most challenging issues that he encounters, and you wouldn't be surprised that one of them is social media, but that's a conversation for you to go back and watch. And I promise you, when you go back and watch this episode, Kenny, and you hear him talk about that, I promise you, you'll be like, I always be saying that. Like it's gonna hit hard and it's gonna hit home because it just impacts people so crazy. But you want a question? You want to go ahead. The man said he got 60-second answer for you.
Yeah,
So go ahead and ask a question he can answer in 60 seconds.
that's different than a 60-minute session. So I could do 60-second answers. So we good.
There we go. So go ahead and ask your question. Me neither, honestly. I feel that. Yeah. I mean, but again, that's the purpose of, trying to have people from these different walks of life who know things better than we do. You know what I'm saying? To bring it to the lifers and, help the community however we can. As much as we having fun and stuff like that, it'd be great if everybody, somebody could walk away with some kind of benefit. At the end of the day, I think that's kind of what I'm here to do with the podcast. To, I mean, have fun, but also to help somebody.
And if you think about like that last question, like a person that only knows what they don't like, Like, do they ever really get what they want? Like,
Mm.
if you meet someone and they can just list all of the things they not going for, I'm not going for this. Usually that'll be a turnoff. You know,
That's a fact. Do
yeah,
they
that's
ever really get what they want?
yeah.
Dang it.
You
You're right, they don't.
yeah, you don't get what you want. Like, and you really would be repelling a lot of people because you come across
Facts. Because
as
once they figure out they fall into the aspect of what you don't want, that's dead.
and you come across as negative. You come across
Yeah.
as hurt. You come across as damaged because all you can do is talk about the things that hurt you or damaged you or that you don't like. So you're never gonna get what you want if that's all you know. So.
Is this about relationships in all aspects? Yeah, we talking about, so dating, courting, marriage. You know what I'm saying? This man literally is a scholar
Family.
and a professional. So family, yep, family. So you know, you got a question, shoot it to him. Shoot it to him. And it's funny because you did mention when we was talking about the whole uh social media aspect, and you was mentioning how people talk about, sharing this and that person should have my passcode. And I ain't here to just throw shots indiscriminately at other podcasters or people, but it's funny that you said that because literally Dr. Cheyenne Bryant has been going around saying that that's her thing about transparency versus honesty. um so the dude she's gonna get with, whoever this guy is, has to give her his, has to give her access to his passcodes and his socials and his phone, because she plans on giving him access to her body and her womb. And that's the greater level. So it's not even an even exchange. But for her to feel safe and for her to feel comfortable, then he has to be willing to be vulnerable the way she's going to be vulnerable. And that sounded like high key manipulation to me. But but I just podcast, read comics, play video games, and hoop occasionally. So what do I know?
You know, yeah, like you said earlier, some people get on the internet and just be talking, and it's entertaining. So
It is.
it's entertaining. I think
It is. She doing her numbers.
unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, those that that are really into the industry, really study and really do the training, we take it so serious that we don't think about the entertainment part. So you don't hear as much from us because
Right.
we're actually sitting down with people one on one and dealing with some real issues of life. And so this, that little bubblegum advice that people give, it doesn't really work. It doesn't work until you actually know a person's life. You know what's going on in their relationship. You know the type of traumas that they've been through that's impacting them. And you can only do that right by building a relationship with someone. So all that the stuff that people hear and get on the internet, it's entertaining, it's fun, and some of it might be relatable, but you don't know these people's lives for real. Like
Facts.
yeah,
Facts.
you don't know their lives.
Because more and more, and I said it in posts, more and more, y'all got to realize y'all can't trust these folks because they look funny in the light, man. Once the light start getting shined on how they really live, what they really believe in, how they really step in, all that stuff they telling y'all, it start to not line up as much, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one thing, right? It's one thing for me to be fat and tell a person they should eat vegetables. Okay, cool. That's really obvious. It's another thing for me to be fat and telling somebody, hey, if you tried this dietary supplement, so forth and so on and so forth and so on, it'll only cost you $9.95 for a jar. Yeah, bro, I'm scamming. I'm scamming. Don't trust me. I'm not even putting it to use myself. Don't trust me. If it was so good, I'd be using it. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gotta be careful with that. But all right, this is the last question. Sorry, game closed. This is the last question, because Kenya came in, and we're gonna wrap the episode after AB answers this question because he has to also let y'all know where he could be found and where y'all could find, some of his books and stuff like that. Because as I mentioned at the top of the hour, he's also an author. So his question is, it's interesting. Why are preferences accepted as they block the possibilities of an actual good relationships, just because they don't, I don't know, have a beard or 6 feet, or they wear weave or makeup?
I think people have become confused between what preferences are and what must-haves are and deal breakers, and they just mix it all together. Like a preference is just that. Like, it's like, I would like these things in a perfect world. This is what I wanted to make. But we know in the real world, like, there's nobody that's carved and created to fit our every desire, want, need, and hope. There's nobody out there. So we have to learn to adjust. We have to learn how to compromise. We have to learn how to let go of some things, and really focus on the things that's important to us. The values, the character. And there's nothing wrong with being attractive to your mate, of course, but is the things that you're looking for, is that the most important things, or is that what's going to make a healthy relationship or a happy relationship? But I think but that's the world we live in. That's the social media world. Everything is about image. Everything is about fads and what's trending, and the stuff that's trending and that's the fad now has taken priority over what's real. But it's just, I'm just happy that I don't always live in that world. And I think most people don't live in that world. I think most people are regular, average people that date and in the relationships and learn and figure out a way to work it out, figure out a way to accept one thing about an individual, and even if they don't like it, but they come with so many other great qualities to them, that the fact that you don't have a certain color of eyes, or you're not a certain height, doesn't even matter, because you come with so much other more things that I love. And I think that's the real world. But if you get stuck on the social media, you'll get trapped and and think that that's what's really going on. And I don't personally believe that's what's going on when you turn off the computer. I see all types of people in relationships these days.
That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree, Mimi. Sometimes people are superficial. Very true. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't compromising the same thing as settling?
Is compromise the same thing as settling? I don't believe.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Let me. You did mention the spiritual side, so that makes me think of a scripture. It's a scripture. I can't remember the book or even the numbers, but I do remember the story. There was a older lady that was in the temple, and it was a lot of rich Pharisees and priests, and they were walking up and giving their tithes or their offering, and the priest was giving these big offerings, and the old lady that was poor, she came and gave her one little penny, let's say, and and they said, listen, and they said she gave more than what the priest gave, and they asked why, and it's like, because she gave out of her lack, she gave out of her last, and the guys that had money, they just pulled off something to give, but they had a lot more to give.
They had a lot more.
And I always think about settling when I think about that scripture. I don't think you can ever be settling if someone is actually giving their all, even if it's not as much as somebody else might have. if I'm giving you my all in a relationship, if I'm giving you all my trust, all my love, everything I have, if I'm showing it to you, there's no way you can be settled. Is no way that you can be settled. So I think that's what we need to look at when it comes to relationships. Like, is this person giving me all that they have to offer? Even if it's not as much as the next
The
woman
next
or
person
man
can give.
has, because a rich dude could come and give you whatever, but that's just pennies to him, so it's nothing. Um,
It's a
but if
bar.
I give you the same amount and that's all I have, like I'm giving more. I'm giving more. So we really need to figure out what settling is sometimes.
That is a bar. I'm gonna give you another hand for that, brother. I love that. I love that answer. I really do. All right, question hour is over with. Y'all got to book this man. Y'all got to pay this man to benefit from his expertise, or at least do the work to become his friend, like I have, to be able to ask a couple of questions. Nah, but please let the people know, AB, where they could find you for whatever it is that they could benefit from you, big bro.
Okay. Well, my social media on IG, you can find all my social media. You can find me under AB Bracewell. You know, my books are on my website. It's my website is Embrace Wellness Therapy. So you know, as now we said in the beginning, I'm an author of 3 books. The book that he's a part of, that you know I have gotten a lot of support from him and a lot of my other brothers. It's called "The Sexual Miseducation of Black Men in America." So it's about a lot of the uh, destructive and toxic things that we've. Look, you got it right there. I was looking for you. You know, things that we've learned as black men about sex, relationship, and intimacy, and ways to, you know, just to counteract those things that we learn. So that's one of the books that I have. But I also have other books about building
Yeah, I'm right
positive
here.
relationships.
I'm right here, y'all. See, I made it.
Well,
I made the
there you
cover.
go. There you go.
Mama, we made it.
Yeah, so I have other books about positive relationships that can either be found on Amazon or my website. And if you connect with me on at AB Bracewell, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, you know, I could connect you to how we can work together possibly.
Put that up on the screen just in case for some reason they don't see, your name. Just gonna go ahead and share it on the screen so y'all can see it right quick. All right. That is AB Bracewell. Really easy to spell. I'm gonna give y'all credit. I'm not gonna spell y'all for you. I'm pretty sure that y'all can figure out that, but also Embrace Wellness Therapy. Okay, that's the website that he spoke about. Please, y'all look into it. I guarantee you've definitely seen him before. You've definitely seen him before, Kane. You've seen him. He's been on. He actually during a couple of his books run. He's been on Good Morning America. He's been on news channels.
Fox.
He's traveled, been on multiple podcasts. So I guarantee, if you think you've seen him before, outside of me, Reese, or WAP sharing his stuff, I guarantee you have. I promise you have. I
I
promise you
appreciate
have.
you, brothers, for always being supportive, man. Always
Hey
being
man,
there
that's
when I
what
call you.
brothers do.
Yeah.
That's what brothers do, man. That's how we hold each other up. And you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we all benefit from our brotherhood, man.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to it. Like I said, I'd never thought I'd be on a book cover. I could brag about that now. I got literary credits, you heard?
Yeah.
Um, but
On the cover and in the book.
and in the book, like, come on, I was part of a book tour, y'all. I really got to live that. So, you know what I'm saying? Being able to, speak on that's the one thing. I'm not a good salesman, so I can't sell. So there's some people who can sell, salt to a slug. I can't sell you nothing I don't believe in. So that's why I can, talk about the book, and that's why I, had such a joy being on the book tour and a couple of the stops, because you push something that I know is going to help Black men of all ages, Black males of all moms is going to help them deal with women who have to raise sons. You know what I'm saying? And don't have a male influence right there. It's going to help them kind of be able to bridge the gap. Like, hey, I ain't never been a man, so I can't teach you. I can't tell you how to be a man, but there's men here talking about things. And I guarantee you, there's no way in this book you won't find something that you're going through or that you have gone through and didn't quite know how to figure out that one of these brothers in here is going to explain. So again, reach out. That's AB Bracewell and Brace Wellness Therapy. Thank you so much. This was way overdue, bro. I appreciate you as a Black man, as a brother, and everything except for as a hoop opponent. I hate you as a hoop opponent. I love you as a teammate, and I hate you as a hoop opponent.
Man, I lost a couple of steps. Now my knee hurting. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying. But definitely y'all check into that. And thank you all, everybody who was in the chat. Let's give a hands up for y'all. This is one of the first ones without Top Cat or Myron, but shout out to him. He's probably watching the game. Shout out to him. Shout out to Mimi joining the chat. Shout out to Kenyon. Shout out to Reese at the top of the hour. You know what I'm saying? Our brother, the guy who brought us together for real. Yeah. And as I always say, y'all, man, I'm gonna be cheesy and put some music to go out with. All right. As I always say, first and foremost, shout out to A.C.E, my brother who he always be, the sponsor of the Two Kings 215 and Life Be Life and podcast, the owner of Simply Nishay Catering, Quiche with the Cakes. And shout out to Mimi, the goddess who was also in the chat. So you get a double shout out, Mish. And as I always say, be smart, be kind, be respectful. Be kind to as many people as you possibly can. But take the time out every day to be kind to yourselves, because you cannot pour out of an empty cup. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all back here next Thursday at 9 o'clock. Peace.